Hello and welcome to Koth, your home for learning how to become a better Magic player. I'm your host, Nick Renard, and today I will be co-hosted by my buddy Jack Gilchrist, who requested the video last week, and we're open. Go ahead and say hi, Jack.
How's it going?
Hey, Jack. And we open up our first pack here, and as you know, money is an issue because I do take cards that are worth money. However, on the other hand, Inkmoth Nexus is also the best card for an Infect deck that I would want. Going against that, I generally don't like to draft to Infect, as a lot of you know. I stay away from Infect as much as possible. The other pick that I would be looking at is Into the Core. And Jack, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much laid it out, right? I mean, Into the Core is probably potentially the most powerful card, but I don't know. If it was me, I'd probably take the Nexus.
Good thing about Nexus is you could play it in a non-Infect deck, and I mean, just as a colorless land that can turn into a creature. It also leaves us colorless, but we're probably most likely going to want to be leaning into Infect. That and Inkmoth Nexus sells for money, so that's going to be my pick.
First Infect draft.
Yeah, I don't draft Infect very often. Alright.
I see Scourge Servant.
So, looking at the Infect cards, they're not great. The Phyrexian Digester and the Scourge Servant are not very good. However, Bone Horde is insanely good and limited. Once you get to the late game, you can start, I mean, even if there are 3 or 4 creatures in the graveyard, being able to equip something for 2 to give it +3/+3/+4/+4, or, I mean, I've seen it get as crazy as 9 creatures in a graveyard or whatever. So your mirrors start turning into really big threats. The other card I'm really looking at is a Fangren Marauder. A lot of you may know that I like to stay colorless for as long as humanly possible. I know I kind of went against that by taking a more or less poison card in our first pick, but I think Bone Horde would be my pick here. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, Fangren Marauder.
It's a bomb
I mean,
card.
It's probably the most powerful. Like once you're at 6 mana, it's probably gonna be more powerful than a Bone Horde because it can completely swing a game. But I would go with Bone Horde too.
Yeah, and you kind of have to make a deck around Fangren Marauder a little bit. You have to take, well, Artifact Destruction. That'd be pretty good with that. So, this is actually an interesting pack. A lot of these are playable. The Quicksilver Geyser, Razorfield Rhino, Blister 6 Shaman, even the Fuel for the Cause. Creeping Corrosion is obviously awesome. Crush, Phyrexian, all these cards are very playable cards. The most powerful card. We keep taking rares, but that is the most powerful card in the pack potentially.
There's what there's 2 uncommons missing. So you could say there's like I would say.
The fact that we saw the Fangren Marauder and the Creeping Corrosion get passed to us, I think that's a pretty good signal for green. I mean, they could have taken like Corrupted Conscience or something over that. Definitely, but these other cards I just don't think have enough power. Like Blister 6 Shaman, it's a great trick. It's a good solid 2-for-1, but I think the power level behind Creeping Corrosion is enough better than the other cards that we can go ahead and take that.
Yeah, I could see us moving to like a late game control kind of deck with a Bone Horde and Creeping Corrosion.
And a Quilled Slagworm. Man, we could have had like 3 Priests of Norn by now.
I don't really like that card.
The Priest of Norn,
or don't?
It's
a good defensive card, but...
Well, it's good in Infect. Problem is, Infect decks are kind of hard to draft. So, we don't know if we're Infect here. We took that Inkmoth Nexus. One of the big reasons I took that was because it's worth money, which I don't like to do, but I will do because, gotta make money on here, and so we can keep drafting. The pick I'm looking at here, I really like the Quilled Slagworm, and I also really like building the Dinosaurs deck. And I think that the Creeping Corrosion is pretty solid just with the Dinosaur deck in general because we're going to be kind of slow rolling people into bigger non-artifact bombs. So Creeping Corrosion is going to fit that very well. And the other cards just really aren't anything that I would be moving onto a different color for like a Shaman or...
The only thing I would argue, I wouldn't necessarily disagree with the pick, but I would argue that for a deck like that, we are going to need stuff like Blister 6 Shaman to make it too late game.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I feel like you can pick up cards like Quilted Slagworm later. Especially you can get the Alpha tier next, but...
Yeah, okay. So this pick... What do you... just like you were saying with the Blister 6 Shaman, we're going to need cards to get there, like Peace Strider, Ridian Emissary. I like the emissary
Yeah, I
because
like
it's
the
ramp.
emissary because it's a 2-for-1 basically. It'll ramp us and hopefully trade for a creature.
Yeah, I've actually had very positive experiences with that card, and also it allows you to splash very well. And I mean, it sits in front of almost all of the early drops besides stuff like Sisbear, which is obviously amazing. I do really like if we were infect. Core Prowler has been awesome for me. Just his death ability being able to proliferate at the end. I really like that. But Viridian Emissary I feel fits what we're building right now. So we've seen a lot of these too, haven't we?
Yeah. Jeez.
So Rotwolf is amazing. It would be even more amazing with Bone Horde on it. I mean, the only cards we take here are the Rotwolf, the Banishment Decree, and the Blister 6 Shaman. We've passed a lot of Blister 6 Shamans. We also passed the Into the Core. However, seeing Blister 6 Shaman isn't necessarily a signal. What do you think?
I think right now I'd probably go with Rotwolf and stay on color because it's a very solid card and it's in our color already.
I agree. And even just as a defender, them if we can pick up stuff like Untamed Mites and whatnot, they're really good with him. I think it's also really good with the equipment that we have. And you're right, staying on color I think is important. Because we're really not sure where we're going right now. Well, we're going green, but Galvanoth. So we're still getting some red-green signals here. Definitely some green signals. We're not going to take the Glissus Courier, the Unnatural Predation, the Concussive Bolt, the Galvanoth, the Koth Ringleader, and I don't like that card very much. But I've had very positive experiences with the Concussive Bolt. Galvanoth, usually, every time I reveal a card, it's not an instant or a sorcery.
I don't think we're going to have a deck. I don't think Limited's a good format for Galvanoth.
I think
I do the Bolt.
the only card we may play is a Concussive Bolt, but
just in case.
we're definitely not going to start leaning towards red just for this Concussive Bolt. Or two Concussive Bolts. So, best card here I think is Dross Ripper. However, if we go, it's hard to go black-green non-infect since we were kind of looking at going dinosaurs. We still could go infect, but we haven't really seen a lot of good infect creatures being passed to us. That being said, my favorite color to draft in this format is blue, and I think that this is a very good card. It's just a piece of removal. Although it is slow, I still think it's... And with our... we also have infect, so the proliferate could be relevant, yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up. And maybe lean into blue with it.
This is the original pack.
Priest of Norn made it all the way around. Well, I mean, is there anything else
No,
really?
there's nothing else.
This guy's awful.
That was a weak pack.
Well, I like this. I mean, I like Hexblade.
Yeah.
And I mean, seeing an infect guy, we're not infect, but these are some good cards to see.
I'd probably do Hexblade or Plague Maw. This Plague Maw can be a good guy to get in the way, plus he works well with poison. But I think Hexblade's a much better late game.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Razorfield Rhino. I mean, I don't think we're gonna have much of a problem with finding our bombs. We could go ahead and take another fuel for the cause, or we could take a Razorfield Rhino. That's iffy.
I don't think we're going to be able to get the Metalcraft on.
You don't think so? I mean, we have two more packs.
We have 2 more packs.
But at the same time, I don't think we're gonna play 2 fuel for the cause, though. That seems greedy. We're probably not gonna play either of them. We're just over analyzing this. I guess we might sideboard the Pistis Strike if we see a Skithrix or something. Horde Smelter Dragon. Wow, that's a... We actually did see a lot of white going around the table. We talked about the Priest of Norn, and then we saw the late Banishment Decrees earlier. So, maybe we'll go into white. We're really not sure what our other color is.
Yeah, this pack's been kind of all over the place.